The Lakers pulled away late on Sunday afternoon to down the Grizzlies 108-94. Tonight it's Game 2 from FedEx Forum. Same two teams, hopefully the same result. We'll get you ready for opening tip coming up at 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Chris McGee joined by the Hall of Famer. Big game, James Worthy. We got the 7-time champ with us. Big shot, Rob. We got Allie here. We got Brez at home working in a suit and tie. We got Trudell down the hall, the whole gang. Hi, Rob.
What's up?
You and Allie bet yet on Ohio State, Bama?
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
It's going to happen on air, I assume, at some point, right?
At some point it will. Probably in the
Remember when you had to wear that goofy Ohio State shirt?
Don't remind me, man.
That was goofy.
It's got to be.
There it is. Right here.
It's got to be more. It's got to be more than wearing something this time. It's got to be like a.
There's got to be something else.
Physical challenge around the studio or something like that, like a.
It's whatever.
One-on-one basketball game or something, and we.
It's ever my lady wants.
There it is, Rob.
Max Truck's ready for a competition.
A one-on-one basketball game right here.
I'm going to say this. That wasn't even planned. That's how good our team in the control.
Oh, they're
room
great.
is. They are good.
I was waiting for them to say fish in the prompter, but it said me because fish was supposed to be here.
I did that. I did that. Contavious Caldwell-Pope will miss his second straight game against the Grizzlies with a sprained left ankle he suffered Friday in San Antonio. KCP did take the practice floor yesterday, and all signs point to return at some point in the near future.
Ankle is feeling great. You know, I practiced today. You know, got a little movement in. Still not 100%, but you know, hopefully I'll be able to go tomorrow. Depends on how I feel. Our bench is deep enough, you know, for me to just take my time coming back. I know we also missing AC, which he'll be back pretty soon. You know, like we made this concept last year, you know, the next man up mentality, and we still have that mentality here. But yeah, I feel like, you know, just taking my time and, you know, making myself make sure I'm 100%.
I think he's in the second year of our system, more comfortable and, you know, more comfortable in his role, you know, and when you get more comfortable in a system, in a role, you know, you're more confident to step up in leadership situations and help someone like Talon with some coverages or things like that. I mean, KCP was, you know, drew the biggest assignment defensively on a championship run. You know what I mean? So he's got a pretty strong pedigree there, and you know, to see him sharing some of his knowledge and helping some of the young guys is, you know, it's a good sign.
KCP is a model of consistency. He's always on the floor. In fact, guys, he's only missed, and this is including today's game, 4 games in 3 seasons. Big Game James, I'll start with you. What do they miss with KCP not on the floor?
A variety of things, really. I mean, his defensive pressure that he's able to put on opponent guards is something that they miss defensively. You know, he's been able to knock down the three-point shot very consistently, especially last year in the bubble, or a few months ago in the bubble, or last year in the bubble. That's right, it's 2021 now. And, you know, his movement without the basketball, he seems to always be able to be backdooring, cutting somewhere, but his presence, I think, on the defensive end, which kind of dictates what he does on the offensive end, too.
Yeah, that's a big key. In this day and age, we talk about offense a lot. We always want to talk about three-pointers. We want to talk about getting back and getting easy buckets in transition. Those 3 things are what KCP does with his team. He plays good defense, he gets some open threes, especially from that corner, and he gets some buckets in transition. So with him being out, they're going to lose some points in that nature. But the good thing about that, they have guys that can step in. And if you think about it, he's only missed, what, 3 games, 4 games?
This will be the fourth
game in 3 years? That's amazing, because this day and age, everybody's, what, load managing, or everybody get a hangnail, they're out, but he's been durable.
We also heard in that sound that KCP is kind of finding his voice in terms of becoming a mentor, especially for a young guy like THT. So it's kind of a 2-part question, James. Do you remember, guys, when that happened, when you kind of went to that veteran role a little bit, where you started feeling confident enough to help young guys? And how important is it for a young guy to have a mentor and a voice in their ear, like we saw with Kuz last year with Dudley?
It's critical, and I think that's why you see teams now, they will try to go out and recruit, you know, veteran players who have that kind of stability in the locker room. Rondo going to Atlanta for a young player. KCP's been going around Oklahoma and now in Phoenix. You need that kind of stability. Guys like Danny Green, Dudley is one of those guys. So, yeah, I always look to guys like Bob McAdoo and, Mitch Kupchak and, just for, solid advice, especially, after you've been with them a few years. But the thing about KCP being out, I was going to allude to, is that this is one of the best teams the Lakers have had. When someone is out, we used to be like, oh,
it's over.
We're in trouble. But look at all and Caruso's been out,
he hasn't
too.
even been on the trip.
Caruso's been out, Pope's been out, and we still were not worried because we got guys like Tucker who are coming in and Matthews, so I think that's a good problem for the coach to have. But it is good to have Pope as a mentor. I think he's turned it. I don't even think he's 30 yet, Rob. Is he?
I don't think
No,
so.
he's not 30 yet. But James, we see it right here in our own studio. Fish out. Call Rob. He's here.
Yeah,
He's here in 30 minutes.
I'm that guy for you. Hey, you know me. I always show up in the clutch. You know me. I'm clutch, dog.
Hey, I run that on loop at home.
Team player.
Big shot.
Man, Allie's making noises out here. She's still upset with the whole Ohio State Alabama
It's okay.
thing. Do you remember when your voice became important for another player?
It's funny because I think about all the teams I've been on. When I was in Houston, I was a young guy, leaning on other people's shoulders. When I got to L.A., everybody was sort of the same. But when I got to San Antonio, I became that old head on the team.
Yeah, you did.
And so I remember Matt Bonner will always come to me and ask me questions, and I'm sitting here trying to teach him. And the one thing I always tell him when you're playing for a guy like Pop, don't look at him. Every time he would make a mistake, he'll look at the bench. I was like, dude, don't look at him, man.
That's so funny.
Have confidence. That's the biggest key that I will always tell young guys. Just be confident, man. There's a reason they drafted you. There's a reason you're on this roster, so just be confident in yourself.
It's the second straight game for the Lakers in Memphis, and the second straight game we check in with Mike Trudell from the green room. It's a lonely place, but he does a fantastic job. It's down the hall. Hi, Mike.
Not too lonely. I mean, I would like Big Game to just stop by and kind of poke his head in once in a while. That'd be nice.
Just a little cigar smoke in there,
just
maybe?
around the corner. Around the corner.
I'll bring you a cold one. In there.
Appreciate that.
Post game.
Thanks, Big Game. Yeah.
Post game.
Okay. Obviously, post game. By the way, Robert, I believe you were in your 26-27 year season or age when you went over to the Lakers. KCP is 27, so you already had some rings by that point. But yeah, so 27.
Hey, way to keep me in line. Keep me in line, man. I'm old. I forget stuff now.
Yeah, well, no, you had that right. You had that right. Just confirming what you said earlier. Now, Frank Vogel confirmed what you guys already discussed, of course, that KCP is out and Kyle Kuzma is going to start in this one. The Lakers had a pretty good game, though, and defensively, especially in the quarters 2 through 4 after a slow start against Memphis. That was one of several things that Frank Vogel spoke about, guys, moments ago.
That's the depth that we have, and we try to find a silver lining anytime a guy is out in terms of other guys getting extended opportunities, and you see that with obviously Kuz getting to be in the starting role along with AD and LeBron, not in place of AD and LeBron. Guys like Wes and Talon who are fairly new to our system. More minutes mean more opportunities to learn our system and their teammates. And see how they fit in. So we're trying to highlight the positive, and those guys were able to do a good job. I thought the bench started slow at the end of that first quarter the other night, but throughout the rest of the game, really dominated play. So I was happy with that.
And then Frank, first quarter of the last game, you gave up 36 points, and from that point on, kind of shut things down, 18, 21, and 19, respectively. What did you see on the film about the defense that was different from the first quarter?
Well, as a coach, you always want that burst by the other team to happen early in the game. Kind of wakes your guys up, and I think there was potential for taking the team lightly because they were a non-playoff team.
Ngoài hè phố mưa rào vắng tanh, ta đứng
winning last year, or a 9 seed, I should say, and able to or had their 2 best players out. So I think for them to do what they did in that first quarter, kind of woke our guys up, showed us what we have to do to win a game tonight, that night, and the final 3 quarters we really buckled down.
All right, and by the way, guys, Alex Caruso, as according to Frank Vogel, what he just said, he is hopeful that Caruso can play once the team gets back in Los Angeles. In big game, you don't have to bring me anything, man. I got a fridge right next to me, got some water, cold water, little Mountain Dew for in case Tough Juice wants to come back from Miami at some point.
All right.
So we're good back here, man. We're good.
Man. All right.
Mountain Dew is in there. That's amazing. Oh, Steph,
Fridge
put
right
that
there.
whole fridge ready for Tough Juice. Thanks.
Right,
Appreciate that, Mike. Good work. Lakers and Grizz coming up at 5 here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Montrezl Harrell doing work on Sunday. 16 points, 7-11, 9 rebounds in the Laker win. Plus, LeBron James hasn't missed a game this season, but is playing a career-low 32 minutes. We discuss player usage when we come back. Sorry, James, you can't sit this one out, bud. We need you. It's in NBA history, but that hasn't stopped LeBron and AD from playing at a high level. LeBron has played in all 7 games this season, but at a career-low 32 minutes. AD has only missed 1 game, and his 33 minutes is down from his career average. Both guys are still averaging over 20 points and 8 boards. Frank Vogel spoke about LeBron's workload yesterday after practice.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him a blow so he doesn't play the whole 4th quarter, and he keeps making big plays. It's tough to take him out. So we were able to find a spot, to get him a rest so we don't overdo it in the 4th. But he was terrific. You know what I mean? He knew what he wanted to go to in terms of the action that he wanted to exploit in their defense. And, we kept putting him in that action, and he delivered, big shots, big plays with the pass, and, obviously, brought us home offensively during that, that 4th quarter.
I continue to take care of my body and take care of my mind to be able to endure whatever the case may be. And obviously the short layoff, the 71 days between, us finishing and having to get back re-going, it definitely put a monkey wrench into my usual regimen of rest in my body and then getting back and going full, hard core on my training. I didn't really have that opportunity to kind of shut down my body and then go and revamp my body and get ready for the season. It just wasn't enough time. So, being able to, it's a fine line now where how much we push, how much rest, and also stay in good rhythm, because we have built, myself and our team, we built so much great rhythm in the bubble that, want to try to continue that as much as we can. So, for me, it's always about just having my mind and my body fresh. And if my mind is sharp, then I can go out and do whatever I need to do on the floor, and if it's not, then it hurts not only myself, but it hurts our team. So, that's the most important for me.
LeBron yet to sit out a game this year, playing a career-low 32. AD, of course, missed that 1 game. He's playing 33. Rob, you like the way Frank Vogel's handling their minutes?
Oh, I love it because you got to think about it. Shortened offseason. This guy's been in the league for 1,000,000 years. He's been to the playoffs 1,000,001 times. So he has a lot of miles on his body. So for him to load management within the game is the best thing for him because you don't want him to sit out because certain players, when they sit out, they kind of lose that rhythm. And plus with this team, they have a golden opportunity to be in a position to have the best record in the NBA. And we all know what happens with the best record in the NBA. You get home court advantage because who knows what the protocol is going to be this year with COVID-19.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, they're relying on other people. If I'm not mistaken, I think they took LeBron out with 5 minutes or so to go in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
The other night, and I was like, that's never happened before.
Yeah, it's a little different rotations than what we're used to.
Even though they were winning the game, but still, you have your closer. It's nice to see that Vogel saying, okay, Shooter can hit big shots. We needed a 3. Obviously AD can, but it's nice to see that, like Rob said, the load management is coming within the game, when he's playing less minutes and he's not taking, that much of a load. So it's nice to see.
Big shot. Time for Access 360.
Going to the wall, Rob?
Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Good times.
Good times
Good
indeed.
times.
We're going to load manage you now. You can go away.
Going to the wall?
No, I'm not going to wall. You can stay right there.
Rob,
Oh, man, I
you
don't
liked
get
what
to
you
do
saw
my
from LeBron in terms of
exit.
asserting himself in that 4th quarter. He had 13 closing that game out in that 4th.
When you LeBron James, you have the ability to take what's given to you and even take was not given to you. Right here, you see the young fella getting everybody in position, but he's setting this up perfect. Nice little down screen for LeBron. LeBron notices, like, look, I have an avenue to go to the rack. I have a good pass up there in twin, so look, I'll go to the rack, lay it up for easy two. Should have been an and one. Oh, it was an and one. Here you go. Now, right here, in position to get the rebound, gets the rebound and pushes it. First thing, kids at home, if you're on the defense, what should you do? You should stop the ball. LeBron, being the smart guy that he is, sees 1, 2, 3. The guys are running wide. So what that means, the alley down the middle is open. He takes it down the lane for easy two. Stop the basketball if you're on defense. So right here, he's setting up everything. Now you get this is what's so popular in NBA. These slip screens, because everybody wants to jump and switch these picks and rolls. Right now, he slips it, goes over for a 3. You get to the hot Matthews for 3. Here you got AD. So, yo, get out the way, Shrew. Get out the way, Shrew. You're in the way right here. We're going to set this pick and roll. Now he comes up and set a pick and roll. Nice pick. AD sees the alley. He can roll. LeBron's waiting for him to get in his line of sight because he knows the big can score in the paint. Gets him right to a little sweet spot for a little floater jumper right there. LeBron at his best, grabbing rebounds, getting assists, taking it to the rack, doing what he needs to do to carry this team on his back.
Still reminding everybody that's the person you want with the ball in their hands to close out a game.
Yeah, you definitely want the ball in LeBron's hands, but it's good to see him moving off the ball. You know, it's not the triangle. Like Michael Jordan used to make that slice and be in the paint for layups and stuff like that. So him having confidence in, guys like Schroeder and Caruso when he's available and players like that, for him to be able to be off the ball, but obviously ball in his hand. It's
Rob, you know what that was? Good times. Straight ahead on Access, Anthony Davis is moving up the list of most career games with 3 blocks and 3 steals. We will show you where he ranks next.
Back to Los Angeles and play a back-to-back Thursday and Friday against the Spurs and Bulls before heading back out on the road to play 2 in Houston. You know what that means? It's time for Brez's 3-point play as we bring in our Lakers insider, Mike Bresnahan. 3 things that you are looking forward to in this game, Brez, and you want to begin with Anthony Davis. He's in the top 10 of a certain list in NBA history.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's so good on offense. We're talking about his dunks all the time, his sweet mid-range game all the time. Now he's hitting threes, throwing up floaters. It's a lot of offense when you talk about Anthony Davis. You forget about his defense. And the other night in Memphis, he kind of reminded us of exactly what he could do. There you see the numbers. One of the top 10 guys of all time with 3 blocks or more and 3 steals or more in NBA history. He passed Kareem the other night. He could probably pass KG, maybe even Josh Smith, and Camby by the end of this year. Not sure if he's going to get to Hakeem or even David Robinson, but bottom line, this guy is so good defensively. And stats don't tell the whole story. We know that. But he's really good at kind of rerouting shots from guys driving the lane. And, of course, with that 7'6" wingspan, really good about clogging those passing lanes, too.
Absolutely. Now, from defense to offense, if you had to pick a weakness from last season, it was probably the 3-ball. But that's changed, at least in the first 7 games of the season.
Ellie, I'm glad you're sitting down. The Lakers are 3rd in 3-point shooting.
What?
That's true. It's completely true. I mean, they're shooting 41% behind the arc. I know we're only a handful of games into the season, but 5 of the rotation players right there are shooting really well behind the arc. You take last season, they were 21st in 3-point accuracy. The 2 years before that, they were 29th and 29th. So I'm not saying they're going to stay in the top 3 or 4 in the category for this season, but they're definitely off to a good start. And by the way, one guy who was not on that graphic, our friend Jared Dudley, shooting 100%. He's 1 for 1 behind the arc so far this season.
How can we leave out our guy Duds? Brez, you have a surprise topic for your last 3-point play. Let's hear it.
Well, Allie, unfortunately, you were born in the state of Ohio, and you are also a Cleveland Browns fan.
Yep.
I'm a Steelers fan, so we're playing.
Trong giấc mơ chỉ toàn người khóc, người vui, người điên. Trên áng mây cao là hoàng hôn, thổn thức tim tôi. Vẫn một góc phố đông chiều mưa, tôi nhìn quanh chỉ thấy xe cộ ngang treo. Không đợi nhau, không trông chờ nhau, không tìm nhau như trong.
playing each other this weekend. And yeah, that's TJ Watt right there. You look a little happier than I do. But, we played you back in October, and we beat you 38-7. I think you should probably be looking like I do since you lost that game pretty badly. And you barely beat us over the weekend in a regular season game, even though we had 9 guys sitting out, including Ben Roethlisberger. I think we should probably put a little bet on who's going to win when we face each other in the playoffs this weekend.
You know what, Brez? Since the odds are stacked against us in Ohio, both my teams, we'll get to the Buckeyes later, the one thing I will tell you, I will take this bet. You know why? Because us Ohioans, we don't back down. No matter how we show up, I will take this bet with you. Name it. What is it?
Bottle of Camus wine.
Done.
Let's do it.
Deal. Check.
It's expensive.
Go
Can't
Browns.
wait to taste it on my lips.
Go Browns. Steelers, who? Yeah, thanks. Camus. I'll send you my address next after this. Well done as always. Tip off at the Grindhouse. It's about a half hour away. You're on Spectrum Sports Net. A game after matching his career high with 4 triples, AD came up empty on Sunday. 0 for 2 behind the arc. Just 6 for 15 overall. We'll see if his shot is on the mark tonight. Plus, the Lakers, Clippers, and Suns sit atop the Western Conference. Are these
There's time to go inside access here. Kyle Kuzma started 2 games this season. When he starts, he comes out on fire. 23 points combined in the first quarter, 6 in the second. But in the second half, disappears a little bit. Only has 2 points in that fourth quarter. That time, obviously, usually reserved for guys like LeBron and AD. But Kuz more than capable of hitting big shots down the stretch if he's in the game.
And he has, hit some big shots in the fourth quarter. It just so happens that, there's a lot of, versatility on this team. It's not needed all the time. But the one thing that he's done, man, in his maturation process is he's understood other aspects of the game. He's had some big offensive rebounds. He's had some blocked shots, and the other thing is he's become a willing passer. There's shots that he would try to force up. Now he's looking for the other player. So he's having more of an impact than he had when he was, when he shoots and he's hot and he hits a lot of points. He's having other impact in the game that are, making the team better.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. He's definitely impacting the game on the defensive end. He's making the right choices offensively, moving the basketball. But, Rob, you've been in that position. You got Shaq and Kobe. You got AD and LeBron. Fourth quarter, it's their time. How do you stay patient and assert yourself at the same time?
Well, a lot of guys don't want to say this, but you have to know your pecking order. You got to know where you fall in this scoring category, and you have to wait your turn because they're going to be nice. If you look at this squad, especially with Dennis on his team now, there's a lot of shots that is taken out of his repertoire because Dennis is going to have the ball, and then you got Matthews if he's on. But Kuz has been patient. The thing I like best is that he's been still being Kuz, but he's passing the ball up. He's not forcing the shot up to try to get a rhythm. So he's happy. He got his new contract. He's just playing basketball because, the bigger picture is winning. And if winning happens, everything else falls to the wayside.
And Kuz will start tonight because KCP is still out with the ankle. Now, I know it's early, but let's take a look at the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. It has a very Pacific Division feel to it as the Lakers, Clippers, and Suns are all 5-2. And atop the conference, the Utah Jazz round out the top 4. 1 game back. We knew the Pacific Division was going to be the toughest in the NBA with all the offseason moves, guys, but obviously Lakers and Clippers, we know they're for real. Rob, are the Suns for real?
If you think about it, the Suns started out just like this last year. They start out hot because they got a lot of guards. They do a lot of outside shooting. And then as the season comes to a grind, the legs get a little weary and the shots don't fall. And then the real big dogs take over. So I'm looking at the Suns right now, and I'm still, I'm going to hold my opinion on them right now, but I still think they're the same old Suns.
Do you? Even with CP3?
Even with CP3.
Crowder, Bridges playing well?
I just think they're the same old Suns, and all these other teams are going to step up. Think about, there's a lot of teams out there in the West that aren't in shape yet.
Yeah.
So they're still getting in shape because of the short off season.
I agree with Rob. I think, they're not going to make a whole lot of noise in regular season. But I do think if they find themselves in the playoffs with CP3's leadership, and now you get to focus on one team and not as much travel, and you get one team for, 7 games, I think that's when they start to be a little bit better with the players they brought in, the leadership of CP3. But it's yet to be seen because over time, we've seen them, make a lot of noise and it kind of fall their way. So we got to wait and see.
With Steph Curry getting hot, Warriors are a little bit on the rise. Kings started out well. They're fading a little bit, but those are two teams that have a possibility now that there's a 7-10 to get into that playoff picture. Does the Pacific have a chance to kind of end that streak? I think it was 2015 when it was the Southwest Division, had every team in their division make the playoffs.
Well, it's going to be tough. I think there's a lot of teams are still trying to figure themselves out.
Yeah.
You know, you got, Golden State, now with Draymond's back, they look like a totally different team. You got Sacramento, who you never know what's going to, they're up and down. They got a little controversy with, Bagley's dad.
They need to
tweeting
stop
stuff.
tweeting.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things that's going on. You just got to wait and see. And like I said, with this vid-19 happening, you never know what's going on, how guys are going to be. Look at New Jersey. Everybody's like, oh, New Jersey is going to be the best team in the league. And now they're like, that's just New Jersey. So you never know what's going to happen. So
you mean Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
You still call them Jersey because you beat them in the 0-1 final. Or no, 0-2. So you just got to be patient. This COVID-19 year is just one of those times you just got to sit back and just wait, man. You just wait.
I agree because, I was going to say something about COVID because you never know when you're going to miss a player for 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
And, as the season goes on, it might be critical games, hopefully not in the playoffs, where you might miss a player or two. So,
or coach.
It's early.
In Cleveland's case.
Oh, you're still jabbing the state of Ohio, aren't you?
Yeah, every chance I get.
Marvin Bagley's dead. You got to stop tweeting. It's just you don't tweet when your son's in the NBA.
No.
Okay? James?
You got to bring some. You got to bring some of those.
Trade your son. That's
oversized, big boxing gloves in here. The ones that don't hurt.
Rob?
And just let them go at it.
We're getting closer to tip-off in Memphis. Markieff Morris is ready to break out. He's made just 2 of his last 12 shots from behind the arc, but he's still feeling good. Lakers are go.
But with each passing day, he continues to prove he was onto something. He doesn't belong in the G League. He belongs in the big leagues, right where he continues to leave his mark with each passing opportunity. At just 20 years old, Talon is averaging 7 points per game on 41% shooting from the field to go along with 2 boards and an assist in about 14 minutes a night. And if that's not enough for you, he's certainly not slacking in the confidence and swag department by any means. And we are here for it all. What's been the key for Talon? Earlier, he spoke with Mike Trudell.
All right, Talon Horton-Tucker, kind enough to join us from Memphis. Talon, appreciate your time very much. Look, I was just telling you before we started here, there's a story that Tony Allen told, and essentially he was watching you play in the G League. You were going off for 30-plus, and you looked over at the sideline and said something about how, you thought that you would belong in the league based on your confidence. He knows you guys have those Chicago ties. Tony's big there in Memphis. I just wondered if you'd heard that story and what you thought about it.
Yeah, it was just a funny story, just being, from Chicago, usually guys know, who each other are. But, I'm young, so I wasn't expecting for him to know me or anything. But I just wanted to, come out and let my game, speak for itself. So I felt like I did that against, the hustle at the time. And, it's just crazy that it, it came back up around this time that we're in now.
No question about it. All right, so Talon, Laker fans got to know you pretty well during the playoffs when you came in and played so well against the Houston Rockets. What did you do in the offseason, as short as it was, to take your game up to an even another level before the start of the regular season?
I tried to continue doing the things that I was doing in the bubble. Being in the bubble was, pretty much straight basketball. So just being able to continue that off the court, I mean, outside of the bubble was, key for me. And just coming, into the season, I wanted to, improve. So that was all I needed to do.
Hey, what are the things that you learned, whether it was from Rajon Rondo last year, from LeBron and AD this year? What are you soaking up from these vets?
Just take it a game at a time. Every game is, serious. Just being professional. You got to come out and play every night. Do the right things on and off the court. And, I'm just appreciative of it.
Last thing for you, what's different about how you're playing this year, just with the unique circumstances, no fans, et cetera? How do you make sure you're still getting yourself up for games like this one, the second straight in Memphis?
Basketball is something that I love to do. So just being able to come out here every, any other day and, just play basketball is a blessing for me. So I just appreciate it.
Trong giấc mơ chỉ toàn người khóc, người vui, người điên. Trên áng mây cao là hoàng hôn, thuần thức tim tôi. Những ngày qua tôi ngồi lặng thinh, cùng mấy cuốn sách dở dang chưa đọc hết. Những ký ức tôi ngỡ đã qua, mà đứng giữa đám đông.
and I just want to come out here and get better and, win. That's the most important thing for me.
Taylon, appreciate your time as always, man.
Thank you.
Rob, for THT, some nights it's 24 minutes, other nights it's 10 minutes. How difficult is it for a player, to kind of find a rhythm when you just don't know even if you are playing in that game, and especially when you're eager and you're young and you're ready to go?
I think it's extremely hard. He's in a bad situation as far as trying to keep his mental straight, because you think about it. We were talking so highly of this guy after the preseason. Now you get into the regular season, LeBron comes back, AD comes back, his minutes go away, and it's probably hard for him to stay focused. But when you got a guy like LeBron you can lean on and stay in the air, I'm sure LeBron is telling you, don't worry about young fella. Your time is going to come. There's going to be points in this season where we're going to need you. So stay fit, stay ready, and stay motivated, because it can be hard, because all of a sudden you go from this a major high and everybody's talking about you to now you're getting maybe 3-4 minutes a game. But I still like his energy and his effort when he comes out there and he's playing good D.
You know what I like, James? I feel like every time he's in there, whether it's just a couple minutes or extended, he has an impact on the game. He takes advantage of his minutes in some way.
Yeah, he's got an old soul to him. It's not like he's a young player. Kind of reminds me of the same situation that Kuz was in. Came in with all that talent, then had to relax and find his way. But every time he gets in the game, Geeter, he does remarkable things on both ends. Very calm, knocks down a three, has very unorthodox moves. We saw that one move where he kind of, caught the center off guard and kind of swooped it up with one hand. He kind of plays in between the notes like a musician. He catches you off guard, so you never know what he's going to do. And then his wingspan, defensively, he kind of, anticipates what you're going to do. And the next thing you know, he's deflecting. He's an amazing player. But like all young players, you got to chill until the next episode, till your time comes. It'll come.
Love that. THD has been a nice contributor off the bench, and the bench as a whole has improved from last season. Lakers are first in field goals and offensive rating in the league. They've moved from 11th to 5th in points, and from 22nd to 6th in three-point field goals. So that is a huge difference from a year ago. And a part of that success is the depth that the team added in the offseason. Rob, how much of a luxury is it? We see it without KCP and Caruso. Caruso's not even on this trip. That you can go 11 deep on any night if needed.
Oh, that's nice. Rob and the Lakers staff did a great job at recruiting and getting guys to sign, because you look at guys that are out grinding hard. And it's not like these guys are guys like, okay, why are we signing these guys? These guys are like, oh, wow, we signed these guys. It's a lot of excitement. You think you got Gasol, Defensive Player of the Year. You got Montrez, Sixth Man of the Year. Shooter, runner-up Sixth Man of the Year. And then we talk about Matthew, who was one of the best players in the league on both ends of the floor until he had this injury. So everybody kind of don't know who this guy is, but we know who he is because we've been watching basketball a long time. But the four guys they brought in to add with Kuz and then AC Fresh, it made this bench incredible and the new staff incredible.
And it also makes it difficult in some ways for opponents to prep for you, because you can prep for a starting five, but then they bring in certain players. Marc Gasol is a tough assignment, the way he passes the ball. Kuz comes in off the bench, he's hot. Wesley Matthews is a deadly three-point shooter. You got to worry about so many things that it makes it difficult to prepare. So you only prepare for one main thing, and all of a sudden the Lakers are hitting you with so many different aspects of the game.
You both mentioned Wes Matthews, and he's starting to find his groove and figure out his role on this team. Perfect 6 for 6 from three against the Spurs. He was 4 for 6 the other day against the Grizz. If Wes can get going, Rob, dangerous team.
Oh, very dangerous. This guy is a great defender. He's also a great shooter. He's showing it out. Everybody was probably looking at him at the beginning of the season who is this guy? What is he doing? But you got to realize this guy's been up and down. He's traveled the circuit for a while, been on a bunch of different teams. But sometimes it takes a while to get your rhythm, because you're playing with two dynamic players in LeBron and AD. You got to find how to fit in and work well with those guys, because a lot of times when you come to a team that's just won a championship, you try to figure out. You say, I just want to add to the mix. I'm not trying to take away from anything. And you're trying to figure out. That's what veteran guys do. You just don't come in and be this brash player, so I'm going to do this and this. He's a smart player. He was trying to figure it out. Now I think he's getting a hold of it, and now he's going to be an asset to the team.
Yeah, he's endured some injuries, have set him back. Some players peak early, third, fourth year. Some guys peak at around, 8, 9. I know it's later on in his career, but some guys start to peak at around 7, 8. He's not that old. He's very dangerous right now. And I don't look at him as a Jamal Crawford type, but when he gets hot, he can be deadly and spread the core, stretch it, and he's also very tough on defense. He plays hard. When he's not knocking down shots, you see him everywhere, helping out, trying to get in front of people. He's just a remarkable veteran player.
Yeah, I think defensively they're going to need him come playoff time. You're going to need those threes. I think he's going to have a big impact on this team. We saw something the other day, Rob, Dennis Schroeder getting an 8-second violation, that kind of ball pressure, just something we haven't really seen much of. That takes commitment, and it's just something that sticks with you like, oh, they have that capability.
Energy, effort, and tenacity. That's what he plays with. And it's almost like he's one of those guys who looks at guys and says, okay, you're ranked higher than me.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick you up and show you what I can do to you. He goes and pick guys up full court. He knows exactly when to exert energy. He knows exactly when to exert speed, because if you watch him, he'll sit back, and next thing you know, he hits you with a burst. But he plays with a sort of control that's unheard of. We always want to compare him to Rondo, but, to me, Rondo, at his old age, had one speed. This guy has 3, 4, 5 different
And he
speeds
had to
that he
pick and
plays.
choose when he used it.
Exactly. So Rondo it was that type of guy. But this Schroeder is a 2.0 to Rondo, a huge upgrade.
No question. And, when you find a player that enjoys picking somebody up full court and enjoys getting in their face, he's a guard. He knows what pressure's all about, too. But he really takes pride in it and puts a lot of pressure on you. I just think he might be, they're all going to be valuable. But his addition at the point guard, when he gets a good relationship with AD, which I see him communicating all the time, timeouts at the free throw line, I just think he might be the most valuable, addition that they brought in here.
All right, tip-off minutes away. Unless your name is Ja, Rookie of the Year is sidelined with a sprained ankle. He was red hot to start the season, 26, and beating San Antonio in back-to-back games, trying to complete the 2-game sweep tonight in Memphis. Kyle Kuzma was asked about the schedule Friday after the game in San Antonio.
I really like this format. I think it's something that the NBA should really suggest on keeping. Even as we kind of get back to normal, I think it's really great for one, obviously it's type of a playoff mentality where you play a team back to back. You have the game plan and execute a different game plan on what you miss, but also from a recovery standpoint for us, being able to not fly to the next city and play and have our bodies get inflamed and that recovery process. So I like it. Hopefully it can stay this way, but we'll see.
Season, maybe it's back-to-backs in the same city, no fans in the arenas, but road teams have set an NBA high 530 win percentage. That's well over the previous marker, 449 set last season. Kuz says he likes it. Big game, you get to unpack the bag. Coaches make adjustments, but the flip side of that, it's tough to beat a team 2 times. Do you think it's something? Do you guys think it's something that might stick around?
It's new. Yeah. It's unfamiliar to me, but I guess I could see